Michael Gramley of Buffalo, New York, for the sole purpose of serving amateurs like myself and very possibly like you. There's so many benefits, so I won't try to give you all the benefits, but here's the address. You can write and get that information, okay? Yeah, okay, hello. Swoose, I'm back again. I do hope you survived the first 2 hours, because I've got another 2 hours here to throw on you. There's so many things in the first two that I forgot or just plain didn't have room to tell you about them. And this 2 hours will be just an extension, a continuation, or whatever. And I've got quite a few things, since I couldn't get it in the first 2 hours, so I feel it necessary to do this in this manner. So, if you can hang on for another 2 hours, well, I'll try to give you some pointers or some things that you could use. I mean, if you're a napper and really want to, especially now, if you want to do this kind of fluting. I have a jig. I made a jig back a few years ago and perfected it, and it really does a good job. It's got a real high rate of success. I lose very few, and I'll try to give you the details on that, and maybe quite a few other things. How to make Pandale points, maybe. Let's see here. Well, anyway, here's these Pandale points. I find it very interesting, and when you learn to do this type of flaking, these come pretty easy. Okay, here's something I want to do as quickly as possible here. I want to show you. Well, it'll be kind of like a sales pitch as to what you can do when you learn to master this method, like the Indians did it. And like I say, I've got enough proof now. So far as I'm concerned, I'm not calling this a theory anymore. It's a fact. But nevertheless, let me show you. Okay, see these Pandale points. Of course, this is a West Texas. It originated out here. It's a very interesting item, but you know what? These guys have been paying $40 a piece for this, and not as the fake is the modern made. They're easy to make. I sit down and make one in 30 minutes if I got a chip, and you could do the same thing. Okay, now here's another one. These items here. I sold 21 of them when I didn't want to at the Artifact Show in Waco, '97, and because I had to come back and make some more. Anyway, I've had to call one order, for instance, for 20 of these items right here. And that, not all just fluted points. It's these parallel flaked, oblique flaked, this type here, for $50 a piece. And I've got some other calls too. Anyway, but I have not produced. I mean, I did not sell them because I need them. Okay, and that's not the reason I'm making these. I'm not saying that I won't sell these points later. Yeah, okay. At one time, however, 1950, when I discovered this secret, that was one of the reasons I stuck it in the closet and hid it, because my conscience never allowed me to fool somebody, so I couldn't take advantage of the market that was even way back then, these items. So, for one reason, the fact is that, well, there was one particular flint napper, well, his name was Reinhardt from Comanche County, had sent me word. He'd seen one of my points, and he wanted to trade me his method for mine, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want his method. I knew how he did it, and I knew how the Indians did it anyway. Okay, so let me show you here some things. Oh, there's so many benefits that you can enjoy in being able to do this. You can sit around your fire in the wintertime maybe, and out in the shop maybe, and if you've got some spalls that's been knocked off of bigger chunks, you can sit around and make these points all day long. I could make, if I were about 60 years younger, I could make 3 of these a day, and I know I can get $50 a piece, probably get more. See this box of stuff here? Every bit of this it has been made just like the Indians did it, with the buffalo horn, made from a spall or a chip, or either for that matter worked down from a larger piece. I do percussion, but I'm not the best. I'm not an expert like a lot of the guys are now, because I've never had the material to waste. But see that polished stuff there? These you can sit around your whatever in your shop maybe, and just whittle those out in no time at all with your buffalo horn, cow horn, or whatever. So this is what, in effect, this is a kind of a sales pitch, I guess. And there's so many other good advantages of knowing this method, but I need to get on now with something else. I have some pretty nice collection, but there's not even one in there that would compare to this item. And if I had found this, it was authentic, I bet you couldn't buy it for $500. Anyway, now here's Pendale points. This is something that I enjoy doing. Why? Because it comes easy whenever you learn this method, like the Indians did it. And this could very well be the reason that they did that, because you have to make long thinning flakes to be able to keep that medial ridge worked down properly. And it's a very interesting point. But with this method, where you've got the power and you've got your machine that has that power that you've already seen it, makes it possible to do this kind of work, and it comes easy. Now, by the way, you might, oh well, let's see, I will say that if the copper tool method is probably, it is no doubt easier to do and easier to learn probably, where they pull those flakes off. And it probably doesn't, you do not exert as much energy, I would say, because it doesn't take, well, but with this method, it does require some effort. But there's an old saying, if you're going to drink the wine, then you got to stomp them grapes. But you will, once you learn to do this, it comes easy. It's not really that hard, because you got your motor, your power packed in this machine working, with your legs. Okay. Yeah, okay, here's one item that I did not get to explain, and about the horn. My question is, how could this method, using the horn or facsimile, it doesn't have to be the horn, it can be, here's one here, the deer antler, come out of it's a ulna, U-L-N-A, comes out of the forearm of a deer. They used it to, just like they do the horn, they push those flakes off, making bird points, or could be making smaller flakes. Okay, and then also they use well, it can be the butt end of a deer antler tine, for that matter, or just a deer antler, fashioned in this method and this way as a spatula. And all the written material that I read about coming out of those dry shelters, they've seen a one or two. They show one or two, and what they call them, spatulas, and that's the way it's shaped. But I'd say is that it was the flaking tool. Okay, here, the horn. How could this method have been overlooked for all of these years? This is the only reason that I'm making this tape, is because I can't find anyone or any evidence that anyone has ever heard of a horn being used. It's always the deer antler tine. How could the deer antler tine have been the recognized method for pressure flaking by hand? I do not know. Anyway, here's one of the very good reasons. I don't think I mentioned this back in the first 2 hours, but I'm going to do it again anyway. The fact is that it's a flesh item, so I've been told. You see, this horn is 50 years old. It's been inside, enclosed, for all those years, but yet look at it. See what's happening? It's just peeling off. Now, if you'll notice, out in the outback, out in the country, an old cow died, dead cow, carcass, that the horn will deteriorate usually before the hide does. It just dries up and blows away. So this is a good reason for that one thing has not been discovered. And of course, if they'd have found a horn, since the theory is that it's the deer antler tine, then if they found a horn, they probably wouldn't know what it was used for. Okay, here's the other reason that I feel that is a very good reason why this has been overlooked. Okay, now if you are one of the, I'll say thousands of nappers now that's made a hobby of this and enjoying it, and I have nothing against the copper tool method. It's wonderful. Okay, but first thing you do if you're a person that thinks you want to get indulged in this hobby, you go to a nap in or whatever, and what do you see? The first thing you find, and the only thing you find, is the copper tool method. Okay, so you get your copper tool, you start working, and you find it's reasonably easy. You can do some precision work with that copper tool. But here's the catch to it. I've discovered in the last, I'm going on 4 years now, 4 years that I've been trying to pass this along to people who have gotten the feel. We can call it a habit. I don't like to call it a habit because, you think of a habit as being bad. But anyway, you get the feel of the copper tool method where you pull. It's a pull method. Pull it off. And this other is a push. It's exactly opposite. One is exactly opposite the other. Okay, so once you develop the feel, the knack, or we'll call it a habit. It is a habit. But anyway, once you get the feel of that, then you try this method of the push method, where you push those flakes off, and you have a tendency that I've noticed. Almost all of the fellows that I've worked with can't seem to get away from that feel of pulling that flake off. And when you pull, then you goofed. You messed up. You pull it. It causes the flake to break out, and that causes you a bit of a hinge usually, and then, okay, you've got to try to work around that. So what you got to do is, in this push method, is to follow through all the way. You never try to pull it off. That could be a very good reason. Like I say, there's thousands of nappers out there that's using the copper tool and doing a good job. They're really building, they're making some precision items, and they've got the Indian speed. Okay, I got one more comment here to make about this horn and this method. Okay, you see this item here? This is another piece of that same rock that I demonstrated that, well, here it is here. See this item here? This is some of the toughest stuff I could find. and it was, of course, to prove that what you could do with this method of the push method with the horn or whatever, or you and against what you can't do. Now, like I say, this is a challenge, and I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I'm in this for the fun of it and making friends, and I've made a lot of friends, and no one to this time, this point in time, has challenged me in any way has about my theory. And I've had a lot of good comments and all. But in this case, since everything that I read, everything that I hear, is that the deer antler tying was the way that they did the pressure flaking by hand. I can't believe it. But anyway, and it will work. I saw that, like I say, the Bruce Bradley, I got his tape. He did a scenarios on how an Indian might rework or work his tools, make his tools out on a hunting trip. And he used obsidian. Well, of course, obsidian, you can do wonders with that. That stuff is controllable. I mean, you know, it's so pure. I use it very little because it's dangerous. I mean, you have to be cautious about breathing it and all that. And then not only that, I like to work this old rough chirp because that's the way the Indians did it, and that's my thing here to prove. In this case, is try to prove that this is the way the Indians did it. Okay, but then I will challenge somebody. I've got this. I kept this piece for that purpose. Somebody wants to show me that they can take a deer antler tine and work this down like I did with the horn. Well, okay. I rest my case. Okay, now I'm going to get into this pretty quick because I'm afraid I'm going to run out of time. You notice, of course, I'm rushing up. I'm doing this. It's not rehearsed, and I make so many mistakes. And my inability to speak is gotten to be. It is really one big challenge for me to make this tape in the first place. But I'm trying to rush it up because I want to get through this, and I don't Swoose fluter. And I think that if you're one of those guys that a handyman and has the ingenuity and so forth and really want to do this, well, you can make those clothes type, folsom and whatever. Okay, so here is one of a drawing that I'll probably go through later. I think it's in this. What I'm going to do, I've already attempted to make a tape one time how to build and use a Swoose fluter. So I'm going to take and dub some of those scenes from that tape, and because to set this up takes a lot of effort to go out to shop and do all of that. So what I'm going to do is to dub in these, and the quality may not be too good, and when you try to flange up one segment with another on this amateur equipment here, well, sometimes it don't work out so well. But anyway, here's a picture, a drawing of this one item. This is the leverage device, a lever, and and here are the other. This is the two items that you put together, but you'll see that in some of these demonstrations that I will dub in. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to explain this. What I think we'll do here. I told you I've already done a tape on how to build and use the Swoose fluter. Okay, now I have a diamond saw. I think most of you will know what a rock saw is, a diamond saw. I'd have to crank that thing up, and it's so. But anyway, we slab this material, and then I'll show you. Well, yeah, okay, I'll show you in the. So I'll start dubbing in these items. I think what I'll do is just go through and dub them in, and then come back and add audio, the sound later. Okay. And I did. I dug out my what equipment I had left after some 43 years and started the size of this. It's going to be a little short, but this is going to be, in fact, this is out of the same piece of material here, I believe. Yes, okay. And you can see, now here's the side here. Okay, about like that, we'll say. And I take these flowers and as this one, and so that I had that one just about nibbled down. Now I'll show you how I do this with an old pair of vice grip pliers here that works pretty good. Because some of this material nibbles better than others, but anyway, we get a bite on it. You see how it comes off there? Just keep nibbling there. Of course, you know, be careful not to go too far, but usually I make this a little larger than one, and they don't give these away. They did sell for about $250 maybe, and all of a sudden we ordered one more, and we had to wait 3 weeks or so before they shipped it because they said we had such a surge in prices. I mean in sales that they ran out of stock. So they had anyway. And then of course they went up about $100. Now it's the one I use. It says here 100 grit, speed at 2,000 RPM. Here is the ripple disc that I use. I've got two items here, and I will try to show you out there in the shop when we get out there. This disc, it helps finish this thing up into a nice oval lens shape and so forth. Let's see, there's put up now. So to move it over here to Westerville, Ohio, 43081 USA, of course, the turbine wheel. And the way I do this, as you can see how much I've lost right here in the diamond part of it. And the way I do it, it's probably not the way they recommend doing it, but I shave this off. I really get after it in a hurry, and I can cut this, work this down in a hurry by shaving it this way rather than trying to shape it up like you probably should. Because when I get it down to size, much noise, I couldn't talk. Okay, now I've got it pretty well shaped up to about the size. Now I'm going to start shaving these, shaving it off on the edges here. What I do here is I shave it off. Okay, and I've just done a little bit here because it takes quite a bit of time. So I'll go ahead and pretty well I shape it up, and we'll show you another view of it a little bit later. Okay, about halfway through this roughing stage where you take the bulk off of it, you can see, but I've still got some more to do there. This glove, it's just an old canvas glove, and I've saturated it with silicone rubber, 100% silicone, and it takes that wheel pretty good. If you don't do that, I'm beginning to wear a little hole here, because if you ever let your hand slip on that, it can cut it. maybe not bad, but it can cut it. So you have to have a glove. I got one on both hands, but that silicone rubber does the job. It doesn't cut nearly as easy as anything else that I know of. Try not to talk too loud because I'm right down on this microphone. Okay, now I've got it pretty well roughed out, pretty well shaped up. Now I'll put it on this ripple disc, they call it. It's a flat surface, and unfortunately I can't get the camera over because this whole unit is up against the wall, and I can't get the camera over to get the right angle to show you the face of that. You roll it around and true up because it does a better job in the finish than that turbine. The turbine will knock chips out of the edge, and this is what you don't want. In fact, here's the thing, you've got to get a real sharp edge now. And this is a problem because those diamond wheels wants to chip that off. You've got to get a real sharp edge to be able to do this kind of flaking that I do with the horn and so forth, with the parallel oblique flaking, okay? White, it's all the same. This is 100% silicone rubber. And I use it for everything. It works real good. That diamond. Okay, we're back in the studio now. You can see what my studio consists of. It's about a 2-foot diameter circle here. Okay, now, and it's also, I'm back, this is the kitchen. As I said before, I'm a bachelor, so I have been for 11, 12 years. Okay, now, I went ahead and shaped this up pretty good. I hope I got that edge sharp enough. As I explained, you do need a sharp edge to do this type of flaking with the horn. And something else too, you never grind if you're going to do this kind of flaking. And while I'm at it, let me say this. Yes, okay. What I was going to say is not important because the old voice got so rough. I don't know, it's not wore out, it shouldn't be. I haven't used it very much. I've never been a talker, obviously. But anyway, what I'm doing here, I'm dubbing this in. I mentioned about the copper tool nappers. Okay, they do a splendid job and making some beautiful work. Real precision, okay. Now, this is done, well, it's just almost what it is, just exactly opposite the principle. I have to redo it. Okay, I'm going to put that tool right there and see if we can get a play. And we got on a bargain bar here. Okay, you see that flake? Okay, well this is kind of unusual. Usually the first flake that you make on one of these is a short flake, and there's a reason for it. No, wait a minute. I see now why I got a long flake, because why? I had a ridge. I had that edge like you'd have, or if you did it around this side, right? I had a ridge that supported that flake. That's why it was long. I'm kind of slow sometimes thinking, but anyway, here we go. Let me show you about this overlapping and why parallel flaking is indeed a science, and why it's so efficient, and why it's the way to go if you're going to do pressure flaking. Okay, so here's what we got. Even though it was the first flake, it's usually short because there's usually no ridge to start with, but this case I had a ridge, okay? But here's this, the backbone, the ridge that's left. And here will be the platform, and you nappers out there all know what a platform is, because you're always looking for that platform regardless of what kind of flaking you're doing. Let's see if we can get one more. Now we've got a ridge to follow, and it's certainly not oblique, it's collateral, but maybe that's what I should be doing, is doing collateral instead of oblique. So, okay, I'm put right on that platform, this is what I want or not. It isn't really. Well, hold the phone, I get. That telephone call caused me to have a 30-second gap here. So I want to show you something here to fill that gap. See these little spawns, those little things there, those are sea animals. Probably some of my ancestors. This is what happens when the material has foreign material in it, and it causes those big waves, those big ripples like that. Platform, and you push straight in. You do not pull it off. You push straight in and shear that flake off. You hold, oh, here's something else. See what I'm doing? I'm holding that, I'm pushing that pad up against that face of that work. Real strong, because I want to hold that flake down. That's why this type of flaking is just exactly opposite from your copper tool. Why? Because instead of leaving a gap there, a channel, we'll say, to let that flake go free, I'm doing just the opposite. I'm holding it down, forcing it to remain, to keep it from buckling and letting those, lining up the molecules in that material, and you're shearing it off. Let's see if we can get one more flake here real quick. Hold on. And push. Wow. Okay. I don't know if this is what I want or not. It isn't really. Well, hold the phone, I guess. Okay, wrong number as usual. Okay, well, that's a little more like it, all right, but still, and it's beginning to be oblique. Well, I got two lights here, and I need one in the middle, don't I? Okay, here's your ridge now, and here's the score now that's left by the previous flake is to be about half as well. The flake that's removed, of course, since it is twice as wide as the flake score that was left, because it's an overlapping process. Okay, here's the flake. Well, let's just make some. Okay, I discontinued that one because of the fact that I'd goofed on the first couple of flakes there, took out too much of my media ridge, so I decided I would be spinning my wheels and using up too much time. So I went out and shaped up another one here, because you've already seen how that's done, and also you got a little bit of the technique of the parallel flaking on this first one, so we'll try this one to see if I can get a better start on it. Yeah, okay. That's about right. So, try not to make too long flakes, and that's about right. Up here, now I want to get a little longer as I go on down, of course. Leaving this media ridge here pretty good shape. I can continue that till I get down here along in here. Better start making a little bit longer flakes. Of course, you can always make it up on the other side, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about right. I wouldn't let one of them get a little over here about like this, but I'm going to have to start making some longer flakes. Now, here's the finished. I went ahead and taped and flaked it out, and it came out, oh, it's all right. It's got big broad flakes, but that's more like a Clovis point should have, a Clovis type. Okay, so now what we're going to do, and like I said, we're already past the halfway mark in this bevel about 45 degrees, I guess. And then we'll show how to do a little flake in there to set up this nipple and platform to be fluted. Then we'll go. Okay. Now we have. Okay, you see, I've went out to the shop and made about a 45-degree bevel, so that I can start here and see what I can make some clearance flakes, I guess is what you'd call them here, to shape up that nipple, the platform. Now this I've never really determined what is really the very best platform. I just make one and they usually turn out pretty good. Incidentally, it's turned out all right. It's got some good body to it. If I can stay in the picture here. It's got a good body to it. Pretty good body. It should give you a pretty good support for your the flute. And okay, see if I can get it. I imagine the copper tool method probably could possibly do a better job. See, I don't know, because I don't do the copper tool, but to work these clearance flakes here, let's see what happens. You got to put this one like a pretty good flake, I think. Ooh. Well, boy, did I. A little bit more in the morning. It's been my problem, is overdoing these things here. Well, anyway, we'll try the other side. See what happens over there. Well, about the same thing, but let's see, I knocked a little bit of the corner, but that don't matter either, because we'll have to get plenty of chance to work up those ears later. If that's no good there. Must be a little bit too strong today. But okay, now I went out and did a little more work on the diamond wheel. I didn't like the looks of it. Still don't really know. But thing is, this is never can tell. Just go ahead and try it, I guess. I don't like it. Like I say, it's kind of an ugly arrangement here, but we'll see. Okay, but what we always need to do is to get a little bit of convexity, at least some convexity to this right here immediately on the media ridge, to be sure that it's not flat or especially a concavity on a convexity. Okay, so can you see here? Let's see, get up here, keep the thing focused about what that looks like. Like I say, it's not a very pretty setup, but we'll see what happens. I've had some that I couldn't believe that was going to flake and flute, and it did, but let's see what's going to happen. Now, okay, so we'll go from here, and the next step now is to, see, this is some kind of foam packing material. I have a big piece of that, and I've been using it. It's okay. I spray this with rubber adhesive. I'm using, looks like 3M Super 77 here, which is real good. I've never had any problems with it. It's a rubber adhesive spray. And I spray it on one side of this foam, and then we'll put it on there, and let me show you. Okay, now first thing, let me, before it starts to set up, that way we can always adjust it a little bit while it's fresh. Put it right on there. Okay, so we leave, this is, of course, to set up pretty quick. It gets very tacky, and it's where you can't adjust it. I believe, however, that I'm making it to suit a long flute, because now that I've already goofed a couple of times here, and I don't think this is going to be a very good tape anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and prepare it for a lot of pressure. It may not give. I found out this stuff has been heat treated. I don't know whether I did it or whether I picked this up somewhere down on one of the nap ends. But anyway, it's real brittle. It tells me that it's been heat treated. And sometimes that being so brittle, it'll crush. It has I'd rather have a pretty good, pretty tough material. But we'll see what happens here. This is a pair. I made 2 sets of these sometime last year. I had the idea that I was going to make some of these for sale. This is aluminum casting. It's one of my hobbies, I guess. I've done it for years. I made some molds. If any of you people know anything about how to make castings, you know what I'm talking about. Make molds. It's quite a bit of effort involved in doing this setup. Okay, but here's what it amounts to. Okay, I'll carve these out with some, I don't remember now what, polyester resin, I guess. Made some prototype and made molds and made these castings. I made a set that would make 2 sets of these, 4 of these items here, and you can see what I did. Okay, I didn't have to carve this out. It was done on the mold. However, I did have to do a lot of trimming. As you can see, you have to, with a rasp and so forth, to cut that aluminum down and shape it up. Okay, here we got, I'm showing you these. However, let me go ahead and finish it. I decided that I would attempt to sell some of these, but after I made these 2, I said, no way, I don't want to work. I mean, that's too much work, and I'd have to charge too much for labor. It take a week to make a couple of these.